Hello again, everyone. Onlydraven here, and thank you so much for tuning in to, I believe, my 12th episode. This week we're going to have our weekly check-in, see how things have gone for the week. We're also going to talk about some of the other videos I have coming out right now, as well as we're going to announce the winner of my free cookbook drawing that I started a few weeks ago. That drawing ended on the 2nd, so we're going to go ahead and draw our winner out today on this video, and then I'll reach out to that winner and get their contact information to get that sent out. So I'm excited to do that. Thank you so much to everyone for participating. But overall, so far, pretty good week. Not a whole lot changed over the last few weeks overall. Other than clothes-wise, feeling pretty good. Health-wise, feeling pretty good. I feel myself with more stamina. So overall, all pretty much successful, but we'll talk a bit more about that in the update. A little bit about my website that I've been talking about. I'm in the process of putting that together. I've submitted the request to have my domain name transferred to my new host, and I'm just waiting for the waiting period to finish. I've probably got another 15-20 days on that. Once the waiting period is over, then it's just a matter of building the site and getting it posted, and that itself shouldn't take but a couple of days. I already have the design laid out and a lot of the information I want saved, so I'm excited to be able to announce that to you all once I have that up, so stay tuned and keep an eye out for that announcement. Other than that, not really much to talk about other than the information contained in the other segments, so we'll get right to the first one. Welcome everyone to the weekly check-in. We're going to talk about my progress for the week, any changes that have happened, things about the diet, go into some of that information. This week was another successful week, a little bit better than last week. I lost 4 pounds this week. As such, that puts me down 121 pounds total. I'm right at 310. I'm excited that I'm only 10 pounds away from 300. It seems amazing, considering I started at 431 pounds less than 6 months ago. That's a huge number. I mean, 300 is big too, but man, it's so much smaller than where I was. I'm already really at or over halfway to my end goal weight I was shooting for in less than 6 months. My official 6-month anniversary of my first visit to my doctor is what I'm referencing. The surgery was actually only about 2 months and 2 weeks ago, so about 2.5 months. But the diet and everything started on December 19th of 2016, so I'm considering that the beginning of the entire process. I lost 65 pounds before the surgery, and I definitely want to include those in the total. So as of May 19th, I'll be at 6 months. I would love to be at 300 by that point. That would be about 10 more pounds in about, I think, let's see, today is, yeah, so in about 12 days. Not impossible, but still a bit of a challenge, losing 3 or 4 a week. So I'm not going to be upset if I don't hit it, but that would be awesome to announce, so I'm going to work extra hard. I unfortunately have not been able to get to the gym much this week at all. We've had a lot going on, just personal life, with some things, and we've got some, unfortunately, some sick pets that we've been having to make some extra visits to a vet for. We got a guinea pig with some issues and some sick cats, so all kind of hit us at once. So unfortunately that has cut into my workout schedule, but I have been maintaining the diet, eating consistently pretty much the same things I normally eat. There's not a lot of variation in my diet at this point, except for once or twice a week I try to cook something to eat for several days. I this past week cooked a smoked sausage and broccoli cheddar pie. I actually have a cooking video coming out today. Should come out right along with this video, so definitely check that out. I'll have a link to that, or the clip at the end of the credits of this video, so if you're interested in seeing that. It turned out really well. We really liked it. Of all the things I've cooked so far that are bariatric friendly recipes, it was probably the one my family enjoyed the most, myself as well. I tweaked it a bit from the recipe I originally found online, and after making it, there's probably a couple little tweaks I'll make before next time as well, which I mentioned in that video. But it's definitely something that we're going to make again. The family enjoyed it enough that leftovers were not just eaten by me, but by them as well. So I'm excited for you to see that video and get their feedback on that. I have 100% determined that mustard is no longer for me. It is the first food I've come across of any kind that since the surgery my body just can't tolerate. Anytime I have mustard in just its pure form, it's all I can do not to be ill. With that standard mustard, this week I tried using a bit of Dijon mustard, see if that was a little different. It was actually worse. I use mustard in the recipes. When mixed with other things, it seems to be fine in small doses, but if I use it as a condiment on something, then unfortunately my stomach just gets very ill. So that is the first food I've found that I cannot have, which sucks because I was a big mustard fan. I put it on just about everything before the surgery. I knew going into this that there would be foods that I used to love that I won't like now, foods that I used to not like that now I will like, and just some foods my body can't handle. Unfortunately, I've been very lucky. A lot of the things I've been eating, like the cheese and pepperoni and sausage, tuna, mayonnaise, cottage cheese, a lot of the stuff that we've been eating that are part of the early phases of the bariatric diets, I had no problems with. I was having a little bit of problem with some of the earlier meat items, but then it turned out because I was putting mustard on them. So instead, I've used a little bit of light mayonnaise on a couple of things. I use light or non-fat sour cream. Seems to be the thing I have the best luck with. My stomach handles that. It goes well with most of the food I'm eating that I would use a condiment on, and it's incredibly soft, so I haven't any problem with that. So if you're looking for something to add a little bit of flavor to your items, light sour cream or non-fat sour cream, I use the light. I prefer it. It has a little bit more flavor. I do recommend it. You just got to keep an eye on it and its fat content. But it's been a good week. Everything has been successful. Clothes, I'm still wearing about the same sizes. No real changes since last week there, other than I am having an interesting situation with my rings. I'm going to talk about that. Give me 1 second. Let me grab those. And I'm back again. So this week I had what I call a small miracle. Something that's very insignificant. To most people wouldn't matter at all, but in the moment, and for me, it was an incredibly important thing. I'm not gonna lie, I almost teared up a bit when it happened. It was just one of those things that kind of surprised me, in a good way. If you know me personally, you know probably this story already, but if not, many years ago when I was around 20, 21 years old, I was playing basketball with some friends. I worked at a Taco Bell, and we used to go after work and play in the park near where the building was. So we're playing about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning after all the stores had closed and everybody from all the different Taco Bells in the area. I lived and worked in a tourist area called Pigeon Forge, Tennessee at the time. So there were several Taco Bells, and all the guys would come over and we'd play basketball after work. We were playing one night, and I was reaching in on the ball, and my hand kind of got pinned between a guy and the ball. And as he turned, it snapped my ring finger backwards and then ripped it to the side. So it was backwards and pointing down. Now, it ended up shattering it in 5 places and ripping all of the tendons and muscles completely in half. Now, at the time, it felt bad, and my friends, of course, yelling, "Walk it off." I did my best. I popped it back into place myself, which hurt more. So much so that I went to the emergency room. Now, the fool who saw me in the emergency room looked at my finger and said that I had a sprain. So he put a splint on it and sent me home. A couple days later, I was delirious with pain and infection, and my roommates called my family, who came and picked me up and took me into a hospital where they saw how much damage had actually happened to my ring finger, just the ring finger. There happened to be a digit specialist there that day at that hospital who said that he'd never seen so much damage done to just one finger in the middle of the hand. He'd seen hands crushed or the side fingers and things, but just one in the middle and the other ones be perfectly fine kind of threw him. So they put me in surgery, they cut it open, pulled extra piece of bone out, wired it up, sewed it up, and stuck a pin through it to let it heal. So 6 to 8 weeks later, pull the pin out, my finger had healed and the bones into one solid bone. I no longer had a joint. And as such, my right ring finger is stuck in an L shape all the time. I can move the joint closest to my palm, but this is one solid bone at this point. They said there really wasn't much way to fix it beyond that other than to possibly re-break it, but then it might get stuck in a different spot. and I decided to leave it as it was. I went through therapy for months, but unfortunately I just never regained back any of the use of that finger. So I've lived with my hand like this for about 19, 20 years. And on the average daily basis, it doesn't affect me. Clapping's challenging. Sneezing's dangerous. It's great for carrying in groceries. I can't do a push-up, but that really doesn't have anything to do with the finger. But, it's like I said, overall it's not been too bad. I can still pick things up. I can grip things. There's not much of an issue. Sometimes if you open a refrigerator, I have a hard time squeezing it in there, bump the knuckle. That can be sore. If I'm sleeping and my weight is on my hand, the joint will be sore when I wake up. But that's probably the most inconvenience I've had out of it. The reason I'm telling this story, the reason I went through all that, is because my finger is broken like this, I've not been able to wear any type of ring or jewelry on it for over almost 20 years. So as such, I usually wear a pinky ring because I have large hands, not just because I'm a big guy, but just naturally I have pretty big hands. I always have. So it's hard to find a ring that would, say, fit my middle finger, which, don't want to show that off. But so I usually wear a pinky ring on this thing, and of course I have my wedding ring on my wedding finger, on my left hand. So since I've been losing weight, my rings, which were at one point very difficult to squeeze on my fat fingers, are now at the point that if I'm not careful, they will fall off just by me walking. They're very loose on my hands, so much so that, again, the pinky ring that I could barely fit on my pinky originally now fits comfortably on my ring finger. And my wedding ring fits comfortably on my middle finger. So just kind of sitting at work the other day, talking to a customer, not, doing much, just talking, listening to the customer, fidgeting with my rings. On some whim, I took off my wedding ring and put it on my gimpy finger. So I call it my gimpy finger. And I slid it on. And that's a tiny thing. It's insignificant. So what? But that was the first time I was able to put a ring on this finger in almost 20 years. And in that moment, I just stopped and stared at my hand. It shocked me. To think that this ring that once was tight and could barely fit on my ring finger normally, now I can literally put it on this finger. Again, it's a little big now, which is what allows for that. But it was a shock to me. It was really the first big wow. Look at the changes that you've had happen to you since you started this process, since you've had your surgery. Something so small meant so much to me at the time, that I was able to put a piece of jewelry on a finger that literally hadn't had jewelry around it in almost 2 decades. So I bring that up because it kind of ties into what I talked about last week. Goals and acknowledging your successes. Excuse me. It is the little things that sometimes mean more than the obvious big things. Big number on my scale is great. Losing a big number lost, not a big number on my scale. Losing a big number is awesome. Seeing the pounds flush out, putting on smaller clothes, that feels great. It's those little things. Having to drill a new hole in my belt because I'm on the last one. 5-second job, but something that you don't forget. It means a lot to you in the moment. It's probably the most impressive way or important way for me to track my progress. Those little changes in my life that most people wouldn't even notice happen. Being able to put a ring on my finger that I couldn't put it on before. The ability to just rush up a stairs, or to help a friend lift something that before I was physically strong enough to, I just didn't have the stamina to help carry it somewhere. Going to the gym and realizing I just walked twice as far on a treadmill as I used to be able to walk at twice the speed. Without even realizing it, just bumping up the speed because I just didn't feel challenged enough. And all of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute, I am way faster than I was 2 months ago. It's those little things that hit you when you least expect it that just can make all the difference. And that is probably the best feeling I've had since I've started this whole process, was just being able to slide a ring on that finger. So watch for those things when you're on your pre-diet, when you've had your surgery, you're on your post-diet, when you're working out. Don't concentrate so much on the big goals. Watch for the little miracles that kick in, the little things that you maybe never thought you'd be able to do again, the things you never thought you'd see again. Because as small and insignificant as they may be to the average person, they can just mean the entire world to you. And they can and double your efforts, revitalize you, make you want to work even harder, make you want to just put pedal to the metal and keep on going with your progress, because just that little change lets you know everything was worth it. Everything you're doing is working, and even when it seems like it's not, stick with it, because you're gonna have those small miracles as well. So there's my soapbox for this week. It was an important moment for me in my life, and I just thought I would share it with you all. So thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll move to the next section. All right, and it's time for us to pick ourselves a contest winner. For those of you who've been watching my videos, you probably know that when I lost 100 pounds, I decided to give away a free bariatric cookbook. I went online and looked through them and tried to pick one that was going to be able to help the most amount of people. And I found this one, Eating Well After Bariatric Surgery. Has 140 recipes in it. I've been through it myself. The recipes in there look phenomenal. I'm actually going to order a copy of this for myself now. But it is a book that's specifically designed for bariatric patients, and for bariatric patients of all different types of surgeries. Everything from the sleeve all the way up to the duodenal switch, as well as the BPD. So any bariatric patient could benefit from that book. I got it on Amazon, it wasn't too much. Definitely recommend checking it out. But I ordered that so that I could give one away to you folks. And so I had a little giveaway. There was a couple of things you had to do to get in. There was no cost to it. And I'm going to go ahead, and today we are going to pick ourselves a winner. Once I draw the winner out, I will then reach out to you and get your information, and then hopefully have it shipped out for you here in just the next couple of days. So I'd like to thank everyone who participated, everyone who went to my Facebook page and liked and shared the video, everyone who's subscribed to my channel. If you've not done that yet, please do so you can continue to see my videos. I try to put out a minimum of one a week. I've actually got some new gaming videos that should be out this weekend as well, but I do quite a bit of the bariatric stuff as my primary focus. So please feel free to like and subscribe this video and my channel, so that way you can continue to see them. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and pick ourselves a winner here. I've gone ahead and put the names of every person who is in there, as well as the people who are part of my Patreon page. They got their name in the hat the extra time because of that, which I mentioned in the original video. So we're going to go ahead in there. I've added everybody in there. And this is our winner. I'm excited. Okay, so the winner of my bariatric cookbook is The Mighty Swine. The Mighty Swine is our winner. I love that name. I've seen it. This person definitely follows me on several of the channels that I'm on, and is also one of my Patreons. So, or patrons. So, congratulations, you are the winner of my cookbook. I'm really excited to give that to you. I'm going to go ahead and reach out to you here then a little bit later today. If you haven't had a chance to see this video, keep an eye for it in your inbox. I'd like to get your shipping information, and I'll get that sent right out to you. So thank you again, everyone who participated in the video. I'm going to definitely do more of these as time goes on. I may look to do another one when I hit the 300-pound mark. I think that's a good time to do something, and maybe something different than a cookbook. If there's something out there that you'd like to see given away as a type of drawing, maybe something like a Fitbit or some type of cooking thing, cookbook, something that's bariatric friendly, let me know. I'd be happy to get your suggestions. Put them in the comments here, or you can put them on my Facebook page, which is Facebook/onlydraven. All my social medias are in the description of this video, so feel free to go there. You can follow me on Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram. I got them all on there, plus as well as my Patreon page. You can go there as well to find out how you can be a part of these videos, and how you can be a part of getting different perks and bonuses and things along with that as well, like the Mighty Swine, who is our winner today. So thank you so very much, everyone, for tuning in this week. I think that's going to do it up. Keep an eye out for my cooking video, which will be out today as well as some more coming out here in the near future. So thank you so much for tuning in. You folks have a great week.